Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and I'm here with my co-host, Chubby Meatball, who actually wants to go outside. Why don't you want to be on part of the show? Why do we want to be on part of the show? I'm not letting you go outside. It's more noisy when I open the door. But we are here, Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. The first part of the show, we have Magic discussion, Q&A. We talk about Magic the Gathering. None of that magic trick stuff. And also, second half, we do Decklist review. So if you've got a 75 you want some feedback on, both from myself and the community, you better believe you can submit it and be eligible to get it chosen at random. We have fair policy here, randomization. So brew up your cup of coffee so that we brew up some magic this morning. So as time goes on, and the Hammer Time deck is starting to pick up more and more steam. The Hammer Time deck is like the new hotness at the moment in Modern. New hotness. We just had a great conversation yesterday from the Hammer Time Master, and it'll be interesting to see if people can improve, make additions to this archetype. For example, I mean, Laplacian apparently is using Sodex's list minus the green already, 15-0 in leagues last night. Sadly, not a single chance to test defense grid, though that sounds like a scary card. If my opponent plays, because you can go defense grid and then next turn basically go kill your opponent. Because this deck basically only needs to interact on their own turn. Matchups feel crazy random, so more testing is necessary. That is basically how the leagues are. Look at these okay, Jund, that's fine. You can expect Jund. Greentron, that's fine. Shadow, that's fine. Dredge. You're a little out of favor, Dredge, for the Oops decks and the Belcher decks. 4-color Omnath, totally fine. Mill, you're on the edge of being around. Yogmoth, absolutely not really in the metagame. Mono Red Prowess, yes. Burn, I actually see quite a bit of Burn in the metagame, to be honest. Then there's Hammer Time. You can expect more Hammer Time in the future. Blue-White Control, Blue-Red Prowess, Hammer Time, Hardened Select Scales. Actually, I don't think this is too wild. Maybe a few oddball matchups, but for the most part, those are all things that you can expect in Modern right now. Good morning, Lord Magicus. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Fish Fam, and also to the Morning Fam. Everyone who loves coffee and MTG. So, yeah, a few more positive things to say about the Hammer Time deck. Now remember, this deck is beatable, but if you want to get in while the getting is good, try to start jamming this deck before people start preparing with the Graveyard Hate, with the the Katakis, the Stony Silences, the Collector Oofs. There are ways of beating this deck, that's for sure. And but people don't have those cards right now. They're not relevant. They're not that relevant at the moment. Good morning, Lumberjack. Good morning. Get that timber. Earn that timber in the morning. Oh, and I most definitely need my coffee. Some notes on myself. I have not been able to get the qualifier points in order to play in this damn showcase showdown tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to have a gameplay stream tomorrow, because there's not going to be a Modern challenge. Whenever there's a showcase showdown, it takes the place of the Modern challenge. I mean, I just need to pay an entry fee, but for this showcase showdown, I need the qualifier points, and I have not been able to earn the qualifier points. I've been facing a lot of random stuff in the leagues. Like the other day, I wouldn't say this was a completely unbeatable matchup, but it was brutally difficult, and I definitely lost. I was up against a Mardu, like a Mardu value deck. You know that card that's 4 mana and it has a flashback lightning helix? Was that something helix? Yeah, smiting helix. So I was up against a deck, a Mardu deck, playing smiting helix, and they were discarding it with the channeler. Yeah, magmatic channeler. So they were like, magmatic channeler, discard my smiting helix, basically draw a card, and they still have access to this card in the graveyard. Or they didn't even need to do that. They could just hard cast the smiting helix and start killing my creatures, gain life. It was very frustrating. So I mean, it's the Wild West in the leagues right now. It's pretty open and diverse. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, you can't complain. It's super open. It's super diverse. You even see Laplacian was up against Hardened Scales not too long ago. That just shows how diverse it can be. You know, people are more than willing to play like older archetypes. And I think the fact that, you know, especially the leagues are so diverse, I think if you could probably pick up anything and make it work, so long as you can adapt it to just a completely open metagame. So Modern is, in that aspect, very healthy format. Very hard to prepare for in the leagues. A lot easier to prepare for, I think, in the preliminaries and the open events, because the cream will always rise to the top. And some of that cream that you have to be watching out for are the Uro decks and Prowess. And probably some Hammer Time. Gotta be prepared for Hammer Time. Hard deck to prepare for because there's like not that many artifact decks out there. So why do you want to put a lot of artifact hate for one archetype? But you know what? A long time ago, that was Affinity. You know, you basically only had artifact hate for that one archetype. So that's it. Price is wrong, bitch. What price? Oh, isn't the Showcase Showdown a thing from The Price is Right? Probably, yes. Showcase. Hold on, let me look up Showcase Showdown. Showcase Showdown is definitely a Price is Right. Showcase Showdown. Yes. Definitely. Okay, now is it an MTG thing as well? Showcase Showdown. Standard Showdown. Showcase. Yeah, they... Oh no, Price... No, this is Price is Right stuff. Oh, maybe it's just standard... The Modern Showcase? What is it called? Do I have it wrong? Showcase Qualifier... Modern Showcase... Oh, sorry. Showcase Challenge. The Showcase Challenge. Not a Showdown. Magic the Gathering Online. You know what? This was just subliminally working its way back. I used to watch The Price is Right actually quite a bit as a kid. Very hard show to watch because I had to be sick to watch it. This show was on after, like, the moment I go to school, this show pops up on TV. Really loved it as a kid. Bob Barker, by the way, still alive. A lot of people think he's dead. He's not dead. He's still around. He's still kicking. Yeah, so it's not a showcase. It's the Showcase Challenge. Showcase is Showcase. I forgot Hercules Recall is in my hate list. Hercules Recall is definitely a card. I don't think it will be that great against Hammer Time because of... What is that? What's the 1 mana enchantment? Sigarda something? I don't even know how to spell Sigarda. Oh. Oh, maybe it's S-I-G? Sigarda's Aid. So Sigarda's Aid. So you could like Hercules Recall. Well, I guess it would hit the creatures, right? But if it hit, let's say that the Stoneforge Mystic is equipped with Colossus Hammer, they attack. You play Hercules Recall. And Hercules Recall, by the way, is a... two mana, instant speed, return all artifact target player owns back to their hand. But because of Sigarda's Aid, that, by the way, that's an enchantment. That's going to stick on the battlefield. They can just recast the the Colossus Hammer at instant speed and re-equip it to the attacking Stoneforge Mystic. But it would be a blowout if you can do it against the Ornithopter and Memnite. Although I don't think it'd be very difficult to replay the things. Do you ever see Aristocrats in Modern, and how is it positioned in Pioneer? I do not see Aristocrats in Modern. Here's the deal with Modern. You don't know, maybe the closest thing you can get to Aristocrats might be Zombies. That probably is your closest bet to getting to something like Aristocrats. But here's the deal with Modern. First off, you need to have a relatively proactive plan. You can't be dirtling around for a long time, even if you can empty your hand. But the second part is there is a lot of removal in Modern. There's a lot between like Prowess, Burn, Death Shadow, Jund, Control decks. It's very hard to keep stuff on the battlefield. And the old classic Aristocrat decks, depended on synergy, depended on multiple things on the battlefield to enable your synergy to win the game. But today in Modern, you have to do pretty good with like two creatures on the battlefield. You know, if you can't win the game with two creatures on the battlefield, you might have a lot of trouble winning in Modern in the grand scheme of things. It's really powerful, it's really fast, it's very strong, but the most important thing, a lot of removal. So you have to be able to grind through that removal. And what I think Zombies does pretty well, let's get what's it called? Carrion Feeder. So I say like maybe Zombies is the closest Aristocrats deck, and it has 5/0s to back it up. So Carrion Feeder has sacrifice a creature, which is your sacrifice outlet. And then the thing is, Zombies there's a lot of zombies that make the opponent lose life. There's like help me people, where are all the draining zombie cards? Yeah, Geralf's Messenger. It's not the only one. So we have Geralf's Messenger, ETB, lose 2 life, but has Undying, comes back, still makes the opponent lose life. Diregraphed Captain. Oops. Or Diregraph. So blue, black, generic, Death Touch, other zombie. It's a lord for zombies, and whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. These are nice. Like these two creatures that we've looked up, when they die, you get value. So even in a world of a lot of removal spells, and this thing actually comes back, so you need to use 2 removal spells, and it's got that grind that I was just talking about. There's another one though. There's Wayward Servant, but I don't like that one as much. Because this is... this one is whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. This card depends on being on the battlefield, and if it dies, you don't get any value. Plague Belcher is a good one. Menace... ETB, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. So like these are, well, you could say the same thing actually between Plague Belcher, Wayward Servant, and Diregraph Captain. However, it is a lot easier for things to die than to put things into play after. Well, anyway, there's a lot of removal. Great to have death triggers. So this is the closest you're going to get to Aristocrats, and it can play very similarly to it. I have videos on it. You can go check out Aspiring Spike's VODs or YouTube channel. I'm sure he's got some good stuff on Zombies. So Zombies is probably the closest you're going to get to that Aristocrats style deck, while still being pretty competitive. Overall, it's not overall Aristocrats is not itself like an archetype in Modern. Yeah, there's a lot of recursive zombies as well. So it's like it's resistant to all that removal that I was talking about. Because you need to be resistant to removal. Isn't black-green Yogmoth better? In theory, yes. I think both black-green Yogmoth and zombies are in a very similar boat. They're very underplayed, underappreciated. Yogmoth has its own problems. It's like a pseudo combo deck. So the deck... it's okay actually by itself. Like it's got a lot of undying creatures or whatever, but it's got a lot of loose pieces that I would say that deck requires more synergy than the zombie deck. We'll just put it that way. It requires more synergy, and if that synergy is broken, then the deck is not nearly as good. For example, if you don't get Yogmoth out at all, the deck might not stand on its own 2 feet, or if the right collected company or Court of Calling, or sorry, not Court of Calling. What do they use? They like to use Eldritch Evolution. So I mean, they're a little bit more, I don't want to call it a combo deck, but they're, you know, closer in that direction than just a Aristocrats deck. Zombies and technically Yogmoth are low-key great. But anyway, both those archetypes definitely could be in that category. So I guess if you like Aristocrats, maybe you could also look at the black-green Yogmoth deck. As far as I know, there's nothing like this in Pioneer, though. I mean, unless someone can... I'm not playing a lot of Pioneer, so I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I have some idea what's going on in Pioneer, but no, I'm sure there's no Aristocrats deck there. But while we're at it, why don't we just go see what's going on in Pioneer? It's been a while. And I'm sure the metagame is just going to completely change when Pioneer is back on the map. Oh my god, are you serious? Oops, all spells is like one of the best decks? That's terrible. That is not good for a format that, you know what, they have a lot of answers to combo, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of answers to combo. I mean, they don't have Force and Negation. They're missing some cards like Surgical Extraction, so that's not good news. As we could tell from last time, like it was when it was Combo City, we didn't do so well in Pioneer. Niv to Light, 4-color Omnath, Burn. This almost looks like Modern. Mono green Planeswalkers, except like the Planeswalker that they're showcasing here is Karn the Great Creator. We've got like Bogles, just Guy Luca. That's a new deck. That's a unique deck to Pioneer. Mono black aggro, Esper control, Lotus combo, blue white, Vampires. Vampires is beating Spirits. That is interesting. That is very interesting. They do have good cards, don't they? Knight of Ebon Legion, Dusk Legion, Zealot. Maybe I should have tried this in Modern. Probably was worth it. Gifted Aetherborn, Murderous Rider. You're not a vampire. Cletus. Blood Baron of Viscopa. This card is actually a huge hoser if you can actually get this in play. Lifelink pro white and pro black. It actually, so okay, you have protect. I mean, this card is an amazing card in Modern, except that it's 5 mana. But if you could get this in play, it's unbeatable. So I mean, it dodges Bolt, dodges Path to Exile, Fatal Push, basically any removal spell. You know, it's too expensive for Abrupt Decay. Also, a protection from Assassin's Trophy. It has Lifelink, and if you have 30 or more life and an opponent has 10 or less life, it gets +6/+6 and has flying. That is a beating when it happens. So, like when you're really close to dead, it's going to finish you off. And Champion of Dusk, ETB, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. This seems pretty clunky. 5 mana, you have 6 5-mana cards in Pioneer. I guess this one's worth it though. There's a Rally Ancestors to enable the deck. It's possible. Wait, a bunch of bad standards had an adverse impact on Pioneer. Let me sip my tea while you discuss further. A few months ago, Pioneer had Abzan Rally. That was kind of an Aristocrats deck. Pro Dismember. Oh yeah, protection from Dismember as well for the Viscopa. Okay, Nikachu in chat, you guys have any pointers for playing Heliod Company? It's literally my first Modern combo deck, so I'm kind of lost in how stuff specifically works and interacts. All right, let's go look at the Heliod Company deck. The main interactions of Heliod Company. So, okay, it is a combo deck. Oh, I should make no mistake. This is literally a combo deck. Let's get a cleaner list. I don't like this list. It's doing a little bit of everything here, which is fine, I guess. Modern Preliminary 4-1, good enough for me. This is the same thing that I just saw. All right, if this is it, this is it. So here's the main this is the main thing you need to understand. You have 2 ways of winning the game. One way not so easy online, but one way easy. You're going to deal infinite damage with Heliod, Sun Crowned, and Walking Ballista. What Heliod Sun Crown says, as long as... Okay, forget the devotion part, but it can be a big creature. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and enchantment you control, and you can give something lifelink with 1 white and 1 generic. Another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Okay, so one way you combo off is you have Walking Ballista in play with 2 counters. It needs to be 2 counters. That's very important. You're going to pay 2 mana with your Heliod to give Walking Ballista lifelink. Now, believe it or not, based on the rules, now when Walking Ballista shoots something, your opponent, you're going to gain life because Walking Ballista has lifelink and it's dealing damage. So you have 2 counters. You go down to 1. Walking Ballista deals a damage. You gain life. Heliod says, okay, Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. You put it back on the Walking Ballista. Now Walking Ballista has 2 counters again. Remove 1, shoot your opponent, you gain life, get the counter back. Shoot your opponent, gain life, get the counter back, and you rinse and repeat this process until your opponent's dead. So you have infinite damage locked in with this Walking Ballista. Now there's a second way of winning the game. Like it's not always winning, but against most decks it's going to be winning, and that is Spike Feeder in combination with Heliod Suncrown. In this case, you don't have to give anything lifelink. Spike Feeder gains life by itself, and the ability is pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter. Remove a +1/+1 counter. We're going to the one that's free. This is a free ability. Comes into play with 2 counters. Remove a counter. Spike Feeder gains 2 life. So you gained 2 life. You get the counter back. Remove a counter again. Gain 2 life. Heliod Suncrown says whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. So that you basically gain infinite life. Online, you don't technically have infinite life. You have a limited amount of life. I think people can, in general, gain 2 life every 2 seconds. So basically 60, a whole minute is worth 60 life on average. I don't know, unless you can do it even faster. So it's not infinite life, but it's enough life that it can beat a lot of decks. Like you can get way out of range of oops all spells. They can only deal like so much damage. Like against a burn deck, you just go to 150 and they may not be able to beat that. So there's a lot of decks that, you know, the certain arbitrary amount of life is going to beat them. Now, this deck actually does a lot of other things. Okay, maybe we'll keep focusing on the core combo. You want to assemble Spike Feeder plus Heliod, or Walking Ballista plus Heliod. So how do we make that more consistent? First off, with Collected Company and Aladdin Recall. Collected Company can help dig for the cards. You can't find Walking Ballista, but you can find Spike Feeder, Heliod Suncrown, and you can also find Ranger Captain of Eos. Ranger Captain of Eos says, when at ETB, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Guess what that card is going to be? It's going to be Walking Ballista, because the converted mana cost is 0. It's 0, so you can find that with Heliod Suncrown, which can be found off of Collected Company. So that's a very important interaction to know. And then, of course, when you're ready to combo off on your turn, you can sacrifice Ranger Captain of Eos. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So there's going to be situations where you have a Heliod Suncrown, maybe 6 mana for your Walking Ballista, and a Ranger Captain of Eos, and you don't want your opponent to play counter spells or any spells or interact at all. So you sack your Ranger Captain of Eos. Your opponent says, okay, do whatever you want. Then you cast your Walking Ballista for 2 counters, and then give it lifelink with Heliod, and then you just win the game on the spot. So look for those opportunities with Ranger Captain of Eos. Now this deck actually has a pretty good beatdown plan. For example, Conclave Mentor says if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead. And whenever it dies, you gain life equal to its power. But this actually can give you a really big board. If you play Conclave Mentor first into Walking Ballista, it's going to get an extra counter. Same thing with Spike Feeder. Also, with a Conclave Mentor on the battlefield, that you get millions of counters with these Spike Feeders. And then if you have enough you can also move counters from the Spike Feeder. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Spike Feeder, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So with that in mind, you can now transfer counters to other creatures, and every counter you transfer adds 2 because of the because of the Conclave Mentor. Okay, hold on. Now, is it when they have infinite mana they can make their creatures infinite big, or is there some really lazy, slow way of doing this? Whenever you gain life, put +1. Oh, okay. So what happens is if you have Spike Feeder, Conclave Mentor, and Heliod Suncrown, your creatures are infinitely big. Infinitely big, because Heliod says whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. So you just have to remove one counter from Spike Feeder, and then when you put another counter on it again, it gains 2, and then you can lose a counter, and then start putting counters on other stuff like Conclave Mentor, or your Arbor Elf, or your Noble Hierarch, and you slowly like double the counters on everything, and then whenever Spike Feeder needs more counters, you put a counter on it, and it adds 2. So between Spike Feeder, Heliod Suncrowned, Conclave Mentor, you can have basically infinite damage in terms of an attack with your creatures. So that's a key piece with Conclave Mentor. What else do we need to know? Skyclave Apparition is just a removal spell for the most part. Nothing really exciting there. Very good efficient removal spell. Uruk Champion is just a meta call. This doesn't need to be in the main deck, but there's so much like prowess and Death Shadow that this is like a fine main deck card, which also just triggers Heliod all the same. The thing between Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf untaps forests, and if you enchant a land with Utopia Sprawl, you can basically double your mana. So enchant a forest. Whenever enchanted forest is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any color to the chosen color to the mana pool. So you go like turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Utopia Sprawl on a land, tap it for 2. Then untap it with Arbor Elf, so you get 4 mana on turn 2. It's possible. It's a lot to ask for. Like, Arbor Elf's got to live and all that stuff, but it's possible. Is there anything else I missed? I think that's about it. Are there any other relevant interactions that I've missed? Can you let me know? I think I got it. Yeah, we can just do it with the Spike Feeder. It's good enough. Probably not good, but could I name Spike Feeder a construct with Plague Engineer so when they remove a counter, it dies? Okay, yes. Yes, that it would be a relevant interaction. It's correct. Because what ends up happening is and you as a combo, you know what, this is a really good point to bring up. Your opponents will try to interact with you with this on the stack. So let's say you have Spike Feeder and Heliod in play, and you want to combo off for an infinite life, but your opponent has like a bunch of open mana up. It might be wise to be patient to get more counters on the Spike Feeder, and I'll tell you why. So it comes into play with 2 counters. So let's say you remove 1 to gain 2 life, and Heliod hasn't triggered yet, but you remove 1 and it's on the stack. Spike Feeder only has 1 toughness now. This is an opportunity for your opponent to ping the Spike Feeder or kill it. Because if you try to remove another counter to gain 2 life and combo off, Spike Feeder dies. So what ends up happening is, I mean, I wouldn't say this is the greatest interaction, but if you did name Spike or Construct, yes. When they try to remove a counter, if it only has 1 counter on it, it would die. That would work. So as the combo player, if your opponent has a lot of mana up and they're not resigning or anything at the sight of Walking Ballista or Spike Feeder, maybe be patient with your combo. Wait until Ballista has 3 counters on it so that you can remove 1, and then if they respond, you can remove another one in response to combo off at the same time. So it's safe when it has about like 3 counters on it. So if you have like Conclave Mentor into Spike Feeder has 3 counters and you have Heliod, you probably are good to go unless they have 2 removal spells in response. But just keep that in mind that this is like a game you might have to play when it comes to playing against this deck. Or sorry, playing with this deck against other decks with a lot of removal. Something else? Anything else? I mean, with Ranger Captain VO, sometimes you just look for other things. You could find, or I've seen people look for. Well, Giver of Runes is not in this list, but I have seen people play Giver of Runes. They like go for Giver of Runes to protect their future combo. Which doesn't make much sense. You can just sack the Ranger Captain for the most part. I didn't get the use of Pendle Haven. Do we have a Pendle Haven in this list? It's probably just to protect your creatures. Target 1/1 creature. Oh, you know what? This might protect your Ballista from those. Okay, let's say you try to combo off with Walking Ballista. I may not know the full value of this card, but like, okay, Walking Ballista is a 2/2 creature. It has lifelink. 2 counters. You remove 1 counter to do infinite damage to your opponent. Then in response, your opponent lava darts the Walking Ballista. In response, you can make your Walking Ballista a 2/3 and then sacrifice the last counter on Walking Ballista to then deal infinite damage to your opponent. That might be that's one purpose for sure. Might make Auriok Champion. No, is it in green creature? No, target 1/1 creature. So it makes your Auriok Champion easier to trade with things. It might help Spike Feeder survive. Like, again, you need to be able to beat removal. That's actually a good way of doing it. So you remove a plus, say, again, the scenario where you have 2 counters on it. You remove 1, gain life. It's on the stack. Your opponent, in response, tries to kill the Spike Feeder. Now you Pendle Haven to make it bigger. Now it's a 2/3 creature, and you can afford to sacrifice the last counter on your Spike Feeder to combo off again. So it's like protection against removal. Did we get a raid? We got a raid from Ashyuk Nightmare Weaver. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you're having a great morning. We're having a great morning. Talking about the Nightmare, that is the Heliod combo deck. So welcome. We're talking about all the interactions in this archetype. Also, thank you very much, Maxi and Adams Games and S. Murray for the follows. McRib. What is going on here? Exclamation point McRib. Something I'm missing here? Oh. This is just how the raid works. You guys must have been up all night. This is the morning for me. I've never gotten such a big. Either you're a morning you've been up really late, or you've been you just got up very early in the morning. It's currently 8:30. We stream throughout. Oh my god, you're an absolute warrior. Okay, the Spike Feeder pumping is instant speed, so you can attack with a 1/1 elf into a bridge. Yeah, in theory you could do that. Oh, that's also a good interaction. That's a good interaction to know. Yeah, so because this whole Spike Feeder, Conclave Mentor, and Heliod Sun Crowned ability is instant speed, you can actually attack with you don't even need to attack with a 1/1 elf. You can attack with a 0 power creature. I guess that's the point of the 1 Noble Hierarch, to attack through an ensnaring bridge. So you attack with a 0/1 creature, and then at instant speed, like put like 20 power on top of it. So this Noble Hierarch can attack through an ensnaring bridge, or basically any of the small creatures. Anything tiny. If you need to. I don't know why you're searching for this when you have this available. That actually, yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, the option is there. Welcome, everybody. Is there some debate between M. Crib and McRib? What did you guys play this weekend? Anyway, I hope that was some valuable insight and explanation on how to play the Heliod Company deck. All things considered, this is a pretty good combo deck to start off with, because it is relatively straightforward. Like, the combo is not super hard to assemble, and also you have like a decent beatdown plan if you really need to. The McRib is a barbecue-flavored pork sandwich periodically sold by the international fast food restaurant chain McDonald's. Oh, I got it. Okay. I love McDonald's. I love the Big Mac. You better believe I'm a huge fan of the Big Mac. I eat Big Macs for all the time. I can make my own fries. But I cannot make my own Big Mac. That is very... McDonald's has got the monopoly on that one. Just staring at this makes me want to get a Big Mac. Please Google McRib. All right, let's Google McRib. There it is, in all its glory. We demand the McRib. In all its glory, the McRib. Can't say I've eaten it, to be honest. The McRib is a barbecued flavored pork sandwich periodically sold. Oh yeah, as you've also mentioned, by the fast food chain McDonald's. Periodically, which means it's not on the main menu all the time. That sure looks like a sandwich with an awful fake meat. Come on, it's all fake meat. You think this Big Mac has anything real in there? You think there's anything real in this Big Mac? This Big Mac can survive like what do I want to say? Like a nuclear meltdown. These Big Macs last forever. The Big Mac will outlive you. Yeah, what isn't fake meat? I mean, it's all fake. I know what I'm doing when I'm putting this in my body. Lettuce? Yeah, maybe the lettuce is real, but even then, like, this is not even good lettuce. There's like romaine lettuce and iceberg lettuce, and this is clearly iceberg lettuce, which is the useless stuff. Yeah, it's real fake meat. Someone should make a company like that. We're the real fake meat company. We make fake meat, but it's real as hell. Which will outlive more, the cockroach or a McRib? I'm pretty sure the McRib will outlive the cockroach. Well, I mean, one eats the other, so maybe not, but anyway. Huge fan of McDonald's here. What iceberg did the lettuce come from? It's just a name. If you are from Florida, the best burger is the Texas burger from Flanagan's. Not from Florida, cannot confirm. McDonald's is food adjacent? Thing in the Ice. It came from Thing in the Ice. Yeah, that's where all their iceberg lettuce comes from. All right, this probably is a good segue, especially since we have so many viewers. Maybe they can give feedback. Let's do Decklist review. All right, it's Decklist review time. Exclamation point deck review and also, leave a space. Give the URL to your deck list. So you have a 75 that you want some feedback on. You better believe we can do it, and also leave any comments. Let me know what the format is. Are you on a budget? And also, like, what are you trying to do here? What decks are you trying to beat? What are you having problems with? Have you play tested this thing before? Ideally, it helps me if you're playing your deck and you know what's good and what's bad. But any deck lists are welcome. So use the command exclamation point deck review. And as the deck reviews start pouring in, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store. And there's always a deal of the week every week at Fusion Gaming Online. Check it out to be updated what the deal is. And this week it is save up to 20% off all core set 2021 singles. Just remember, this is a Canadian store, so your American dollars stretch further. And we're also going to thank our sponsor, Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. And you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save yourself 15% your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. And it's a great outlet for testing your new brews on Decklist review. You hate Fusion? Oh, Fusion Gaming? They only sell purple sleeves. All right, so as deck lists come in, what is going on in this chat? Okay, so as deck lists come in, let's just do deck review. Good luck. Do you want to teach me how to make a Big Mac? You have to teach me. I don't know how to do this. Like, I can make fries easily, and McDonald's fries are good, but they're not like pay $4 for it good. I'd make my own fries. I have no problem with that. But like Big Mac, I can't make the Big Mac. I can't emulate the bun. I don't know all the ingredients. I really don't care to make the damn thing. It's also a lot easier for me to just walk across the street, not too far from here, and then go get myself a Big Mac instead of making it myself. That's my strategy. I make my own fries, put the timer on, get my ass outside, go get my own Big Mac, bring the Big Mac home, and then that's about it. Someone should send... We need a McDonald's-based list. I don't know how you do that. JK Torborg's deck list has been chosen. Hey, we've seen before, but one advice: how can I fit Hypnotic Sprite into the list, and can I cut Merchant of the Veil for the 1 CMC Artifact Destruction Adventure in my main? I can combo with it since I use Wishclaw, but sorcery speed is an issue. I'm torn. Okay, so this is the adventure list. It takes 48 seconds to do the dressing and the packaging, 40 seconds to cook the regular meat for a Big Mac. You make me a Big Mac. Make me a Big Mac, ugly hood rat. You make me a Big Mac. I'm going to test how delicious it is compared to the real Big Mac. All right. So the feedback is you need to figure out you want to fit Hypnotic Sprite. But why Hypnotic Sprite? I can combo with it since I use Wishcloth, but sorcery speed is an issue. I'm torn. And can I cut Merchant of the Veil for the 1 CMC Artifact Destruction Adventure in my main? What is the 1 CMC Artifact Destruction? I don't know what I'm not familiar with it. Because the Hypnotic Sprite is like, it's not very proactive. It's very reactive and it's really clunky. Like this card, I've playtested this card quite a few times. I wouldn't say it's the greatest card. I don't even know if why. So my question, Torborg, is why play the card Embereth Shieldbreaker? I'm just not spelling Ember. Oh, it's Embereth. I forgot. It's Ember. Destroy target artifact. What artifacts are you trying to kill? This seems like a sideboard card. There's not a lot of artifacts in this game. It's not popular right now. Sprite playtested well in my Sultai build. Just wanted to try potentially. I mean, this card, you can squeeze it into your sideboard, but I don't see much reason to have it into the main deck. So if anyone is not familiar, the idea... what is the idea of this deck? It's like... It's a deck that doesn't play any spells. The spells are creatures. And that's very important because it plays Spell Shift, which they find off of Wishclaw Talisman. Counter target instant or sorcery spell. Its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until they reveal an instant or sorcery card. That player may play that card without paying its mana cost, then shuffle their library. So they find Primal Surge, exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you may put it onto the battlefield. And then you repeat this process until you put the whole deck onto the battlefield, including Thassa's Oracle, and you have nothing left in your deck when Thassa's Oracle triggers. Hear that, Aspiring Spike? You're going to need 2 Tails Ends for this deck, because there's 2 Thassa's Oracles. My question is more, does main deck artifact hate suck less than a main deck looting effect? I see. Over Merchant of the Veil? What do you have at 2 mana to put things on the battlefield? I see what you mean. You know what? The loot? You know what? I think the loot is garbage. I don't like it at all. And the fact that you don't have many things to do... Well, you have things to do at 2 mana between Bone Crusher Giant and Brazen Barber, but you're not putting anything on the battlefield. There's actually some things you could kill. You know what? You could blow up an Expedition map. You might blow up, I don't know, Maze Mine Tome. Maybe... There's honestly not that many artifacts. So do we want a 2/1 creature that randomly blows up artifacts? Let's look at the metagame. The metagame. It would be, like, useful, but not perfect against Heliod Company, because, of course, you know, they could combo off the moment you try to, like, cast this card. And it's sorcery, right? So, good luck comboing off anyway. Useless against Uro. You probably want Merchant there. Rakdos Death Shadow, probably not good. Aladdin Ree's Toolbox, not good. Tron, very good. The Hammer Time deck is growing. Maybe that's useful there. So actually, you know what? It might be well positioned against the Hammer Time deck. Ad Nauseam can blow. Oh, do you know what? You can blow up a lot of stuff against Ad Nauseam. You sold me. Between Ad Nauseam, Oops All Spells, hitting the Mana Rocks, we're get the hell out of here, Merchant of the Veil. We're gonna replace you with Embereth Shieldbreaker. I like it. Okay, I like that idea. I still don't know if I can be sold on the. Well, maybe we can. I'll tell you this much. I think if you want to fit Hypnotic Sprite, you might as well take out copies of Vendilion Click, which are fighting for a very similar spot. This is 3 mana, and essentially the Hypnotic Sprite is also a 3 mana card. I guess you could blow up Chalice. You can also blow up Vial. Clique is a key part of my deck, though. At least a one of. What do you do with it? What's important? What, like looking at your opponent's hand? Making sure the coast is clear? It's the only way I can tuck. Oh, I see. You need to put Surge back into your deck. I get it. Okay. So you Clique, yeah. That would suck, wouldn't it? Okay, so we can't get rid of Click. How important is Nimble Obstructionist then? Because your deck is all like I can tell you, I've played with Hypnotic Sprite a lot. It's so clunky. It's a very clunky card. Like you would think that this 3 mana thing would be great, but for the most part, it's not. And I would think I still would prefer you're more on a beatdown plan of attacking your opponent and forcing them to tap out. And I think you'd be better at doing that than with Hypnotic Sprite. Hypnotic Sprite is not like the greatest card. That's why it sees actually no play in mod. This card sees no play in Modern. Nothing. If you can make it work, then you'd be the first deck to make it work. I mean, your deck can fit it. I would say you could definitely fit it in the sideboard if you really needed it. So yeah, this thing could go. Well, I mean, how about this? You could try 4 Embereth Shield Breaker in the main over Merchant, and then replace these 4 Embereth Shield Breaker for your Hypnotic Sprites. I mean, that would be, I think, a clean replacement. Check out this deck, people. Hornet Nest. This thing's underrated right now. Whenever Hornet Nest is dealt damage, put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch on the battlefield. Take that, Prowess. Eat it. Eat my Hornet Nest. Oh, Hypnotics. I think that not Hypnotic Sprite. The other one, Faye of Wishes. Too slow. Apparently too slow. We've seen this deck for many a years. Interesting that you're using Arbor Elf. What? I might. How many forests do you have? I might just live off of Utopia Sprawl if I could. Just because it can't get hit by removal. Arbor Elf can get hit by removal. Anyway, I mean that's how I would try it. How is the list doing? Elf enables Beast. Aha, okay. See, there's a reason for this list. The reason for why it does what it does. So it awakens the Love-Struck Beast. Can attack unless you have 1/1 creature. Okay, get rid of. If you know what's clunky, get rid of it. Get rid of Merchant. And actually, I do think that this Ambreth Shieldbreaker is probably going to interact favorably in the metagame. At the very least, you have a 2/1 creature on turn 2, but against the right matchups, against Oops, you get to blow up their like Pentad Prism. Same thing with Ad Nauseam. Tron and Eldrazi Tron might be coming back, and you can blow up multiple artifacts in those matchups. Like if they go turn 1 Expedition map, you go turn 1 blow up their artifact. That's sometimes game right there. Tron needs that Tron mana. They mulligan far for it. So the fact that you can interact so early and hit them so hard with Embereth Shieldbreaker, I think is big game right there. Worst case, it's only a combo piece with Talisman when I run Shieldbreaker in its place. That's right. All right. Thank you very much for submitting the list. I agree with your changes. I agree with the changes. Well, I don't know how valuable Hypnotic Sprite is going to be to you, but like if you want to look for room, I think that's the way to do it. Put it in the sideboard and move Embereth Shieldbreaker to the main deck. All right. Deck review pick. Headshot Catcher's deck list has been chosen. Just want to share this list because I love it. All right. People just love showing off lists. You can do it too. You got some wacky brew. Show to the world. To all the streamers out there, here's where, oh, and it's a budget deck too. You can get this for like 86 ticks. Okay, Arbor Elf, Mole Drifter, Boarding Party, Haste with Cascade. But this is a very expensive card. But you're going to get anything basically in play. Annoyed Altasaur. Breach, Trample, and Cascade. So this is like some Cascade deck. Cascade into everything. Stone Rain, Thermal Karst, destroy target land. So it's like half Ponza, half Cascade deck. Destroy target land. Bonder's Ornament. Each player who controls a permanent named Bonder's Ornament draws a card. I guess that's gonna be you. Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth. Ash Barrens, Forest Island, Mountain. Is that it? You just try to win with these big dummies? Is it worth the blue? You have blue in here. Is it really worth? I don't... Hold on, what format is this? Oh, it's Pauper! It's Pauper! Oh, this is wild. Oh, this is wild. I don't... Is it still worth it? You have literally... I don't know if I can get behind Muldrifter. You have literally... Is there any other way to get... Okay, you have like... No, you can only look for a forest with this. I would scrap the Muldrifter. This is just too unreliable. You literally have 2 Ash Barrens and 2 islands for this Muldrifter. I guess... I mean, I guess you can cascade into it, but I don't think so. Oh, Utopia Sprawl also gives blue. Utopia Sprawl and Ornament. Oh, you're right. It says add 1 mana of any color. Okay, I'm sold. You have enough. I think 12 is enough for something to play on turn 3 and turn 5. Neat list. I can't really speak on behalf of the Pauper format, what should be changed, what should be increased, but you can also like ramp with Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl. These are all Pauper cards. So basically I have red green Ponza in Pauper. Take that, Tron. Tron, you trying to be the best deck in the format? Nuh-uh. We got Stone Rains and Thermocasts and Acid Mosses are on the way. Come to take up your lands. And then we're gonna annoy you to hell with more Stone Rains. Sweet list. Okay, so we'll quickly go over the sideboard for anyone who's like a Pauper aficionado. Curvex Torch, Pyroblast, Ancient Grudge, Serene Heart, Weather the Storm, Fiery Cannonade, Tranquility, and Ulamog's Crusher. I hate Fiery Cannonade. My god, I'm so pissed with that card. But you don't even have Pirates. Oh, this is a Pirate. You have 1 Pirates. Aye, matey. Think Mill is the strongest deck in Pauper? That's a bold statement right there. Headshot Catcher, have you played this deck at all? Like anything? I've had Altasaur cascade into Boarding Party cascade into Muldrifter multiple times. I'm sure it has. Please tell me you have a plus win rate versus Tron. Please tell me. Someone's got to bring Tron back down to like, you know, back to earth here. How is Mill the best deck in Pauper? Is there any like truth to this? I haven't looked at the Pauper metagame in a very long time. We've got Tron, Fairies. Oh, nice. I love me some Fairies. Boggles, Boros, Monarch, Blue-Red, Delver Fairies, Elves. There's no Mill here. Get at. What are you talking? What are you talking, Ugly Hoograt? What are you talking about here? Slivers are the best deck in Pauper. They banned Persistent Practitioner. Well, they banned it for a reason. I want to quickly look at the Scred Fairies list. Or sorry, Demir Fairies? Fairy. This is not. You're not a fairy. Oh, this is fairies like. Ugh. How can they call this fairies? This is not fairies. This is fairies like they call like modern fairies. Like so long as it has Spell Stutter Sprite, they call it a fairies deck. It's like no fairies in this deck. There's no fairies in this deck. That's stupid. They might as well call like control decks wizards. It's a wizard deck. It has Snapcaster Mage, and sometimes it has Vendilion Click. It's a wizard deck, people. Like it makes just as much sense in my opinion. Right? I'm not wrong. Okay, hold on. Are there other fairies decks that look like a fairies deck? This is not it. It's just Dimir. Okay, 4-color fairies. Give me a real fairy deck. Jeez, there's not even fairies here. What is going on here? What has happened here? Like, the term fairies has just been completely watered down to nothing. If it is like something similar to a blue-black deck, it's a fairies deck now. Let's do one more. Deck review pick. Also, thank you very much, Headshot Catcher, for the deck list. Nardoto's deck list has been chosen. Just come to share my 4-0 yesterday. Sick stuff. Congratulations. I see Merfolk. You better believe I love me my Merfolk decks. All right, Command Speaker Lord. This is a 4-0 list, people. 4-0. 4-0. Lord of Atlantis, Master of the Pearl Trident, Merfolk Branchwalker. Someone took to heart my criticisms against Silvergill Adept, but you're actually running Branchwalker in addition to some other stuff. Okay, so you're playing Branchwalker instead of something. Oh, Aquatex Will. So I have no problem with Aquatex Will, except that it's not good against Tron decks, and we still have Tron decks in the metagame. In fact, I struggle against regular Tron if I don't have access to Spreading Seas. So let's see. You do have Spell Pierce that will help you there. I will say, if you don't have Tron in your metagame, then it doesn't matter. You could play Aquatex Will relatively freely. Ether Vial, just so I didn't go through the list too quickly. 4 Branchwalker, 4 Mistbinder, 4 Trickster, 2 Reedry, 4 Silvergill Adept. Super heavy, really super heavy on creatures in this list. 2 Damping Matrix. Shuts down a lot of cards. This is a card I don't think most people even know it exists. Activated abilities of artifacts and creatures can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So shuts off all artifacts, shuts off the Heliod combo. Doesn't matter if you have Spike Feeder or Walking Ballista. Both of them are cut off. Shuts off a lot of like affinity-like decks like Hardened Scales. You better believe that this is going to give trouble to the Hammer Time deck. They can still play through it because of Sigarda's aid. If an equipment enters the battlefield, then you can just attach it to something. So they still have game, but it's hard to attack through this Damping Matrix. Dismember, Pithing Needle. Loving Pithing Needle right now. Probably my favorite sideboard card at the moment. Maybe it was good ever since Eldrazi Tron. A lot of people are asking me, so was there an earlier period we could play Pithing Needle? Like maybe, maybe not. Like it's very good right now because Belcher is such an important card to beat. Like it hits both the Goblin Charbelcher and Oops All Spells, but it always hit Eldrazi Tron really hard. Like this was a very good card against Eldrazi Tron. And you know what? I might have wanted access to some of these, but right now it's really important because it actually hits like every single combo deck for the most part. Every combo deck, including like I can name Colossus Hammer with this. That also is effective some percentage of the time. Only 1 relic. You must have like no Uro in your metagame. 1 Surgical Extraction, 2 Tidebinder Mage. And anyway, sweet list. I love it. Doesn't stop your combo deck. No, I can name Wishclaw Talisman. I can make your combo deck less consistent. I can name Wishclaw Talisman with the with Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle, Wishclaw Talisman. And they'll be staring at these Wishclaw Talismans like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's a thing. That can actually happen. That's an activated ability. It activates. So you're going to have to draw the thing. Hold on. Just trying to think. Can't you play that sorcerer? Or did you have... You can resolve Primal Surge and put all of the islands from your deck into play. That'll protect from Island Walk. Okay. Yeah, probably beat down. That's right. You got to go with the beatdown plan. All right. Thank you very much for the list. Thank you very much for the list, everybody. It was a great show today. Who are we raiding? We got to raid some. We got to get ready to raid. Get ready to raid. I don't see anyone. No one's up right now. What is up with that? Is everyone playing like there's like a big Modern event today. I know that. Maybe I should be playing in it instead of playing on Friday, on Saturday. Nikachu, do you hate mill mains? I don't know what that means. I have no problem with the mill decks. You can bring on all your mill strategies. You can bring on all your milling strategies. I have no problem with that. I'm going to repeat again. It's a buy, and it always will be a buy. I've never rated TSP Yedrick. He's playing Bug Uro. I want to try to raid somebody I've never raided before. Got to try to spread the love. Yeah, we'll raid TSP Yedrick. Playing the Bug Uro deck. Looks like it's a pretty hot deck right now. He's been playing a lot of blue-black stuff. Oh god, I was gonna raid you! How do you can't raid me? I'm supposed to raid you! This isn't working at all. Thank you very much for the raid. But now we gotta go somewhere else. Okay, who have I never raided before? I'm looking for someone I've never raided before. Oh, worst comes to worst, we raid Trellin. It's no problem. No one's playing Magic the Gathering online. What's this? What is going on here? Okay, Trellin. It's gonna be your birthday today. Thank you very much for the raid. But now it's time to raid TS. Sorry, we'll raid Trellin. Or he's not available now. Where is everyone going? I have no one to raid. I can't even find him now. It's like everyone's going at 10 o'clock. Is there like a tournament right now or something? What is going on? Oh my god, I need to add Needle to my sideboard again, I realized. Yes, it's a good card right now. All right, I'll just raid someone on MTG Arena. His channel appears to be running. Hold on, did I misspell? From my side, it says not available. Well, whatever. Let's try it anyway. I'll try it anyway. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If you want to know, we do these. Well, we still do this on twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. Might change soon. I might be moving to all the other platforms to do Coffee and MTG, but you can best be sure that we are doing this Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Maybe I should do it an hour earlier. Should experiment with the times. Shouldn't be a problem. And thank you very much. So as usual, let's keep brewing the coffee and keep brewing magic. Until then, see you tomorrow, or see you on Monday.